Hi, and welcome back to Jen and Dan's Natural Healing with Plants, the go-to podcast for holistic health seekers looking to harness the power of nature for health and healing. I am Jen. I'm a passionate health educator, whole food, plant-based culinary coach, and master herbalist. And I'm here with Dan, an exercise specialist and a wonderful master herbalist. Together, we dive into the world of natural healing, bringing you a wealth of knowledge and practical advice. We draw from both traditional wisdom and modern science with herbs and foods to help you achieve optimal health. And so, for today's topic, you've probably heard of forever chemicals or PFAS, I think is how they call them, PFAS. These are forever chemicals that are man-made chemicals that did not exist when humans were created, and we are exposed to them in so many different ways. And we've been told for years that they are absorbed into our bodies, stored as fat, creating fatty liver, as well as many other issues, and that they're forever chemicals, meaning we can't get rid of them. So, Dan, where should we begin today?
Well, first we can say that there's over 12,000 man-made chemicals of these types, and they started in the 1930s. So, oh my God, they've been in an environment. How long is that? I can't do the math in my head. 70, 80 years, something like that.
Yeah, almost 90
It,
years.
so they've been concentrating in our environment all these years, in our water, in the air, in the soil, in the food, and a lot of these things are also. I think some of these are some of the plastic containers.
Yeah.
And I think fire retardant clothes, like some of the things
Mhm.
firefighters wear, it's found in those clothes.
Food
I'm not sure
packaging,
in other places. Do I?
food packagings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably some in the water.
Yeah, in their water, non-stick cookware.
Yes.
Yeah,
You have
and
to be careful
makeups.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, makeup as well. And has been found in the blood of 97% of Americans. So I wonder who the 3% are and what they're doing differently.
God, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yes, but PFAS stands for per and polyfluoroalkyl alkyl substances. I don't even know how to say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, so they're chemicals that resist heat, water, oil, and stains. And so thinking about like waterproof clothing, stain resistant sprays that we use on carpets, sometimes on furniture. Um, I feel like there was somewhere else that we used to spray stuff. Maybe we don't anymore. Anyway, fast food wrappers, and like I said before, makeup.
And so a lot of people wonder why are they a problem? So studies have linked these chemicals to all sorts of wonderful health conditions. Like, first of all, they actually disrupt your hormones, which we don't need that. Thyroid dysfunction, which how many thyroid problems do people have now?
Yeah, it's one of the largest growing illnesses, that and liver disease.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It suppresses the immune system, which we both know if your immune system is suppressed, then now we're exposed, we can even get cancer. I mean, of course, they're linked to cancer, high cholesterol, like you're saying, liver damage, infertility, which is funny. Infertility. Some people think that, well, a lot of governments are saying that there's too many people on the planet, so you have to wonder about that. I don't know. Low birth weight and blood sugar imbalance. Now, blood sugar imbalance. So you could be trying your best to eat low glycemic, high fiber, trying to control your blood sugar, but now you have these chemicals that may be affecting that too. So,
Yeah, yeah, it can interfere with the insulin receptors. And
oh,
so having trouble getting the blood pulled into the cells. And so it can actually lead to insulin resistance, according to Dr. Pizzorno of the Toxin Solution. I'm actually reading that in my book club right now. So I found that fascinating.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. And I never would have thought that, toxins could be related to like type 2 diabetes. That's crazy.
It is crazy, and it kind of. I don't know. It makes people feel hopeless, I think, some people. But
Right.
today I hope we can spread some hope because you can do, but this is the thing is have found that if you change your life and you go eat a really healthy diet like we talk about, start to exercise, most people will get better. So I think the body is very resilient,
Yes.
especially when you start living the right way. The
Hmm.
body is really, really resilient. So I think if we live in the right way, that we can still be healthy and not have diabetes
Hmm.
if we live the right way. And we have to look at our toxins. A lot of people try to say that your body can already detox things. You don't have to worry about these stupid cleanses, but this isn't true
I
because we're
think,
so bombarded now. We are exposed to toxins everywhere we go. So it's really important to do a detox every 3 months, 4 months.
yes, I can't believe how many people have said you don't need a detox. That's what your liver's for. Well, hello. Yeah, when man was first on the earth, they weren't exposed to all these man-made toxins that we're exposed to, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and they definitely didn't have chlorinated and fluoridated water,
Yeah. That's
right?
why I try to tell people, like, look, 300 years ago, our environment was pristine.
Right,
Now
right.
we live in like a chemical pool. I mean,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and so let's talk about the ways you can get exposed. We already named where some of these chemicals are, but how do you get exposed to these? We,
well, one is your drinking water and contaminated sites like military bases, factories. I live by a military base and factories, so drinking water is like we have to have it. And I'm a huge proponent of distilled water, and then people want to argue with me about that. But the
yeah,
reason I say distilled water, I mean, we were taught that in school, but if you look at it intelligently, distilled water is the cleanest water. You can distill water, and it is almost completely pure. That's the only way you get this stuff out of your water is distillation. Maybe
right. I have to.
reverse osmosis, maybe. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what you have there. Yeah.
yeah, I also have a distiller. And if you do distilled water, then you can always add some trace minerals or some sea salt to your water, if you're worried about losing any of the minerals that are in the water. Like spring water would have minerals, but spring water is highly contaminated now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This little town I live in, there used to be rumors about the water here not being so good for people because we live by Fort McClellan, which is known as a toxic base.
Mm.
So I don't drink anything out of the tap here. I always distill. I have a distiller, which is a mega home, which I don't sell them, but like I said, it's been really, really good. You get them on Amazon. I paid $200. I've used it for 12 years. It's never broken down on me. I use it every
Mm.
day. So if you're interested in that. So
Yeah.
other places, of course, are going to be our food. Unfortunately, our food and our water. Isn't that a great way to poison people? Because we have to
Yeah.
eat and drink.
Right. Yeah, and you have to eat and you have to drink. Yeah, and I was gonna say one more thing about the water is you really become a water snob. Once you start drinking really clean water, when you go out to eat somewhere or go to somebody's house, oh, you can taste the water where I never even knew I could taste water before.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
but
glad you brought that up.
yeah. Are you a water snob?
Yeah, and I didn't think I was going to be, but distilled water, there's no flavor. If you go
Right.
from
It actually
distilled to
tastes
the
good.
faucet, oh my God, you can taste all the chemicals in the water, like the chlorine.
Yeah, you can taste them and smell them. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes, but we need to pay attention to where our foods have been grown, and that's harder and harder for people. I live on a farm, so that makes it easy for me. But you really want to pay attention to where it's grown, especially things like we hear about arsenic and rice. And so I can't remember what areas of the country are lower in arsenic, but you can do a Google search for that actually. And so if you eat rice, you want to make sure you rotate the types of rice you use, rinse it really well before you cook it. You can even rinse it, soak it, and then cook it with extra water and pour off the excess water, and that helps to remove some chemicals as well. But our soils are contaminated, and so are our foods through packaging. So if you think about it, even if you buy pasta, pasta's wrapped in a plastic sleeve usually. Our canned goods are lined with things to prevent rusting. And so we're exposed to those. If you drink a hot tea or a hot coffee from a restaurant and they put that black plastic lid on top, well, the steam hits that plastic lid and those plastics go into your tea or your coffee. And so, and even those cardboard cups, they're lined with, they have a lining that is also coated. Using Teflon pans, I mentioned before, wearing waterproof clothing, cosmetics that have fluoro ingredients. So if it has FLUORO on the label, for any of your cosmetics, then you're being exposed. And so I've also heard, and so let's discuss this for a second. I've heard people say that we don't need to worry about what's on our skin, that that's really, it's not true, that you can get contaminated by putting things on your skin. What do you say about that?
I say that's ridiculous because the skin is highly absorbable. It absorbs things.
Yes, and if you think that you can't absorb it through your skin, then why do people use nicotine patches, hormone patches? Hello, it
Yeah,
definitely is exposed and it goes into your skin.
well, going back to that topic of absorbing through your skin, I don't do it now, but I used to have a filter on my shower too,
Yeah,
because you can absorb chlorine when you're taking a shower.
right, right. And a
So,
lot of people do that. Yeah. And at the School of Natural Healing, we talked about, the pores. We don't think about the pores on the top of our head, but we have pores just like the rest of our body. When we are applying medicinals, we apply them, if we want them really quickly into the body, we apply them to the bottom of the feet because we have such large pores on the bottom of our feet. Well, if you're standing in a shower, you're not only do you have pores on your head in hot water, you're absorbing all those pores to whatever chemicals are coming out of that water, but then you're standing in, shampoo and conditioner and those chemicals from the water in the shower, and that's quickly absorbed into the bottom of your feet.
oh yeah, that's why it's important to pay attention to the kind of shampoo and soap you use. I always try to get something that is organic with less chemicals. And, it's not easy to do. I had to do research to find good shampoo. I mean, even
Yeah,
some of the ones say they're natural, if you look at the ingredients, they're not natural.
they're not natural. Yeah, and I use the Think Dirty app. I don't know if you've tried that, but it's just Think Dirty, which sounds like you're going to a bad website, but that's an app that you can scan the barcode on a product and it will tell you what chemicals are in there. It uses a red, yellow, green scale, green being safe and red being definitely not safe, and then yellow. And it'll tell you why they're color coded that way. And then also gives you suggestions of other products. And so I haven't used that app in a while, but that's definitely what we used at first to help us switch out some of our products.
Yeah, I think you told me about that. And I found the shampoo I'm using now. It's called Rocky Mountain Soap Company. Yeah, they have really good clean products.
Mhm.
And I don't have any, I don't sell them, but I'm just saying I'm trying to help the listeners. But
Yes.
so I like to use what is it? I think can't think of the name, but Dr. Bronner's stuff is really clean.
Oh yeah, and the Castile soap. I think there's a
Yeah,
Jason's as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jason's a good,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what we use, just regular Castile soap. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but even just the indoor air, even through your air
Oh
conditioner.
yeah.
Yeah, we are breathing in chemicals. Carpets, furniture, clothing, they all off gas. I know when I just came back from vacation and as soon as I walk in the door, there's a smell. And we have wooden countertops, so my husband will treat the countertops. And he hasn't done it in a couple of years, but it's still, as soon as I open the door, I can smell that smell, which once we're home, we don't notice the smell. We get used to it, but we're still exposed to that. And when you think about it, there's no, like, what is your filter between your nose and your brain? Right? You may have some nose hairs, but there's nothing that really protects your brain from those chemicals that you're inhaling.
Yeah, they say that the indoor air is some of the most toxic because there is no ventilation.
Right.
So every once in a while, I open my windows and let the house air out.
Yeah, air out the house. That's a great idea. Yeah. So if we've been exposed, how do we get rid of these things?
Well, we were taught really good cleansing methods from the School of Natural Healing. I believe those will definitely get to the root of these chemicals. But there's new studies showing that certain types of fiber can help us get rid of some of these chemicals, like beta glucan fiber, which is what's beta glucan, right? It's found in oatmeal and mushrooms. I think there's beta glucan in nutritional yeast. I could be wrong, but I think maybe there
I think
is.
it is there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The beta glucans, right. Any, well, fiber in general is going to help you pull it out. I know in some studies, we were looking at a study before the call, they actually used psyllium, I
Yeah,
believe. Is that correct?
I think so.
Psyllium husk.
Because yeah, because it forms gels in the intestines and it can bind to some of these chemicals. And then you go poop, which we're always talking about poop, because
Yeah.
that's the way you get the stuff out of your body. You have to poop every day. It's not every 3 days, like some people say you need to poop every day. So if
Yeah.
you're not, you need to work on that.
Yes, yes. The way, how do we remove toxins in general? Through our sweat. And
Mhm.
so moving, working out, working up a sweat, we get things out through our skin. We have to focus on supporting the liver and healthy bile flow. And so getting the liver flowing to help break down whatever chemicals it can break down. So sometimes these are called forever chemicals, so they have difficulty breaking down. Using fibers to bind to toxins to carry them out through your poop, which means you really have to work on moving the bowels, working on the kidneys. We didn't even talk about kidneys. So kidneys are also damaged by these chemicals. So that your kidneys has these teeny tiny little tubules all throughout them, and anything harsh, like if we have a high salt diet, high sugar diet, or these toxins, they damage the kidneys. And so we need to make sure that we're really flushing the kidneys and providing good, healthy support to support the kidneys and the liver. And like you said, it's pooping. Poop. You should poop after every large meal. After every large meal, just like a dog or puppy or a baby, they eat and they poop. That's what we should be doing, and we train ourselves not to do that. But that's how you get it out. And so if you're not going, you need to find a way to increase your bowel movements.
Right. And the fiber-rich diet's going to go a long way there with a lot of water. And
A lot of
that'll
water.
also help your kidneys. Kidneys, you're talking about kidneys. The kidneys have to have water. Water keeps the kidneys healthy. And
Yeah.
I'm guilty of this too. I have days where I don't drink enough water. But I
Yeah.
really try, I always thought, well, I need to drink more today. Most Americans are dehydrated. They found in studies they're chronically dehydrated. This
I've
strains your
had
kidneys.
I've had clients who, when I ask them how much water they drink a day, and they tell me none.
Wow.
None.
So it strains your body when you do it. It strains your kidneys and your bowels and
Yes, and you can't drink sweet tea and call that your water.
no, it's diuretics.
Yes, as a diuretic. Coffee and tea are both diuretics. And so if you're not drinking water and you are drinking tea and coffee, then you're actually causing more harm.
Oh yeah. If
Yeah.
you hate water, some people tell me you could try to put lemon juice in there. Lemon juice makes it taste better.
That is a great way. Yes, and the lemon is wonderful for your liver. Your
Oh
liver
yeah.
loves lemon. Yeah. So in the study that we looked at, they used psyllium husk, and they reduced the forever chemicals in each person by 8%, an average of 8% in just 4 weeks. So that's
Wow.
huge.
Yes, that
That's
is
huge.
huge.
Yeah. Now I have psyllium husk here in my freezer. I actually keep psyllium husk for different products. Like if I make seed crackers or things like that, it's a wonderful binder. If you are taking a supplement with psyllium husk, or you're taking the powder daily, you want to start slow and work your way up, especially if you're not pooping. So there's a fine line. So psyllium husk can help you to poop, but it can also stop you up. So you have to make sure that you're taking enough, that you're moving your bowels and getting those toxins carried out, but not taking too much that you're not pooping, because you definitely want to make sure that you're getting those chemicals out, because otherwise they get reabsorbed. And if they get reabsorbed, they're going back into your blood, and we're making things even worse.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I've had people go increase their fiber and they get constipated because, well, you should increase it slowly, but also we go back to the dehydration part. If you're
Mhm.
not drinking water, you have to drink water with the
Right,
fiber, you
right.
know.
Right. And you should drink half your body weight in ounces in water. So for someone who weighs 150 pounds, that's 75 ounces of water a day. Now, if you're not drinking any water at all, and then you drink 75 ounces today, you're going to be up all night peeing. You're just going to be flushing it all right out, which is good, flushing everything out, except that you're flushing it all out, so you're dehydrated again. And so start slowly incrementing how much. So if you're not drinking any water, then make sure you drink a cup of water today and then 2 cups of water tomorrow and work your way up. If you are, maybe you need to get 75 ounces and you're regularly only drinking a quart. Well, then today let's drink a quart and a half. And then the next day increase. And so my point is just don't jump to drinking all of that. And if you're trying to detox, you actually need more than that. So more than half your body weight. But once again, don't jump to how much water you're drinking, slowly increase that.
I also understand once you get to where you're drinking water on a regular basis, it takes a while to rehydrate your body because it doesn't just hold on to all of it. If you
Right.
want to read, there's a really good book, The Body's Many Cries for Water. That's a very eye-opening book if you're having trouble drinking water. This book will
Mm.
tell you all the detrimental effects that occur when you don't drink enough water, like high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I can't remember. There's like several diseases this medical doctor linked to being just mildly dehydrated on a chronic basis. So yeah, it's a good book. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So if you do have some constipation, then gradually increasing something like psyllium husk, gradually increasing fiber in your diet with water is really a great way to do that. Another herb that I like is a herb combination, an Ayurvedic combination called Triphala. So Triphala is also helpful. At the School of Natural Healing, we used the lower bowel formula, which is not addictive, but it's a combination of different herbs. Dr. Schultz also has a formula. What's it called?
intestinal formula number one.
Intestinal formula number one, which is also not addictive, but can help you get things moving along. You don't want to take like a pharmaceutical drug for sure, because those can become addictive. And then you don't want to have to take something to go to the bathroom. You want to retrain your body to go on its own.
Which the lower bowel formula was actually designed to help your body, retrain itself and actually strengthen the sphincter muscles. So yes, a good one.
Yeah. And then not like I keep talking about, not me, I keep talking about psyllium husk, but there's different types of fiber too, and they're not all created equal. And so if you're using a fiber, so psyllium husk fiber is what I buy, which I actually have out in my yard. It's the seeds from the plantain plant, which we probably all have in our backyard. It's supposed to be in everybody's backyard. I know I've seen it in different areas of the country. If you don't spray, right, you want clean, but those seeds are what psyllium husk is made of. But things like is it there's a what is it? There's a fiber supplement a lot of people take. I wanted to say Mucinex, but that's for colds. Um,
Oh, oh, I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, there's a popular one that a lot of people take that contains psyllium husk. Well, it also contains other things as well that may not be healthy. And so it'd be better to choose something that is just psyllium husk. And so you want to read the ingredients. So my number one rule for anything is always read the ingredients, always. And so even with your supplements. And so if you decide to take a fiber supplement, make sure you look to see what are the fillers, what are the inactive ingredients in there, because those can also be things that would clog your liver and you don't want to be clogging your liver. And so making sure that you're reading the ingredients, but focusing on foods that are higher in fiber is great as well. And so I love this study because it shows us that these forever chemicals can be removed from the body, which we were always told that no, they were stored. Now, I know in my program, I know you have a program coming up too. I teach people how to stop putting in the toxins, start increasing the fiber, start adding in liver loving nutrients to help flush these toxins out. Because, like we said, they are stored in the body, they're stored in the liver. The liver doesn't know what a chemical is, it's not going to let it pass through your body because it's going to think that it's going to damage your body. And so it stores it until it has time to really investigate it and figure it out. Well, if we stop putting in the toxins Stop adding in those plastics. Stop cooking in with Teflon, nonstick cookware, those black plastic spoons. We didn't even talk about that a lot of people cook with so they don't scratch their pans. Highly, highly toxic. Your coffee maker, if it's black plastic, highly, highly toxic. And so we have to, if we can get rid of those things, then our liver goes, oh, I have time to figure out what this is and break it down and help get it out. But we need to be eating the foods and the things that support the liver, but also can carry things out. And so let's talk a little bit more about what foods can be helpful.
Well, the first one, ground flax seed, and I like this because you do have to grind flax seeds so everybody can absorb them, and it makes a really good fiber. I mean, I've heard people of using flaxseed tea for their
Yeah,
bowels to help them go.
yeah. I put it in, so I make a chia pudding every morning, which chia seeds are another one, but I put ground flax in with my chia porridge too.
Sounds
So you can add
good.
it to your food, add it to your smoothie.
Lentils and beans are another good one. I love lentils and beans, especially on
Me
my
too.
diet.
Yes, me too. Yeah. Oats. Now, I prefer oat groats. If you aren't familiar with oat groats, look them up, but you want to make sure you're buying organic. I buy those that are organic and certified gluten-free. But oat groats, they look more like barley. They're not the flat, squished processed oats. They're a whole oat, the whole grain, and you just soak them and cook them. They're a little bit chewy, but that's going to be the healthiest. If you do a good, better, best, the best would be oat groats. Better is going to be like your old-fashioned oats.
Apples are good. Apples, pears, which I think a lot of people like apples and pears.
Yeah,
Berries. Now, berries, some of my favorite. I love all types of berries, blueberries, raspberries,
me too.
strawberries, all those berries. They're really good for you. And
Yes. Now, those are all on the Dirty Dozen.
yes.
And so you only buy those organic, or I grow them on my farm. I grow all those on my farm.
Oh,
But you
really?
sure, yeah, you want to make sure you buy them from a farmer or buy them organic because they are like apples were on like number one for a long, long time. And I believe I saw there's something like 80 chemicals on apples. It's something crazy. It's something crazy.
Wow.
They spray them with different things so that when you cut them open, they don't turn brown. They spray them with things so that they stay looking nice and fresh in the grocery store. Yeah, and the same with berries. And those some of the chemicals they spray on here you can't even wash off. And so you can use like an ozonator. I actually have an ozonator too with a wand that you can put in with your fruits and vegetables, and that can help break down those toxins. But just buy organic or grow your own or get them from someone you know. But
Yeah,
apples,
it's really,
sorry.
huh? Go ahead.
Well, we talked about the beta glucans, which are in the oats, and but apples are also high in pectin, and that's another fiber that some people take. I've actually bought just apple pectin. Now, eating the apple a day keeps the doctor away. Makes me think maybe it's the pectins. So the pectin, and there is also a gel-like fiber which binds to these toxins to help carry them out. And if you're constipated, eating apples with a glass of water, that can also help things move along. And so it's probably the combination of the different types of fibers in there in the pectin and the water.
It's a good point. And I was going to say that I know apples, organic, they do cost more, but man, is it worth the money because the chemicals on the conventional apples, and that's what we're trying to do here, is get rid of toxins from the body. So we don't want to start adding it back with our food.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have
Uh,
go
yeah,
ahead.
I was going to say vegetables because it's artichokes. I like artichokes because not only do they help you detox, but they're good for your liver, support your liver
Yes.
health.
Yeah. And have prebiotics too. So they feed the healthy microbes to help you with constipation, help regrow leaky gut and damage to the intestines. And the same with asparagus. Asparagus does the same thing. Wonderful for detoxification, wonderful for the liver, but also wonderful for the intestines and wonderful fiber.
I remember you telling me about asparagus, how nutritious asparagus is too.
Yes, highly nutritious. Yes, and then any of our cruciferous vegetables. So if you don't know what those are, that's They're kind of your bitter greens, arugula, kale, all the different cabbages, Napa cabbage, red cabbage, bok choy, Brussels sprouts, radishes, turnips. I could probably go on and on, but these are cruciferous vegetables and they help with repairing DNA damage, but they also are wonderful for the liver. The liver loves bitter. So anything bitter that we can eat, that's what the liver loves. But then these vegetables, they contain different chemicals that are also helpful for the liver. They contain sulfurs, which help with one form of detoxification, as well as many other things that your liver has to have to work correctly.
So we can also talk about a few herbs for the liver because the liver is one of the main detoxification organs.
Hmm.
So I like dandelion root. If you look at studies on dandelion are coming out, pretty impressive stuff. Saw one where dandelion is a actually can help attack cancer cells. I saw this article about it.
Well, I believe it. And talk about a bitter green. So it's
Oh,
bitter. Yeah.
milk thistle. I love this herb because it protects your liver from toxins. So some people that are on certain prescription drugs, they're in the know, they actually take milk thistle because it helps mitigate some of the damage that prescription drugs do to the liver.
Yeah.
And it's also the antidote to death cap mushrooms, if you can believe that.
No,
I
I didn't
don't,
know that.
yeah,
Uh,
I don't want you to eat a death cap mushroom, but
don't try this. Don't try this at home.
but it can actually protect you from death. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. There's a study out about that.
Wow.
Hmm.
Hmm. And then burdock. Burdock is one of my favorites. Blood cleanser. It's fabulous. And if you can buy it like in an Asian store. So here in the US, we don't think of it as a food, but all three of these are foods. You can use them as foods, you can use them as herbs, you can use them as supplements, but I like to buy dried burdock root. I grow it at home too and chop it and dry it. But I add it to a pot of beans if I'm cooking beans. I add it to my broth, add it to soups and things like that. But you can also chop it up like carrot and stir fry it. And so it doesn't have a lot of flavor. It's not sweet like a carrot, but it's shaped and cooks up just like a carrot. And it's called a blood cleanser. And so it helps to remove these toxins from your body.
Wow, that'd be a really good addition to the diet if you can
Yeah.
find it.
Right. Yeah. And so like I know like mountain rose herbs,
Yeah,
that's a good source for buying any of these dandelion, milk thistle, or burdock, or growing your own, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So our podcast is all about finding natural ways to heal. And so that includes reducing your toxic load. That's helping the body do what it is meant to do because our bodies are beautifully and wonderfully made. They were created to detox. They were created to heal and recover. But unfortunately, these man-made products are slowing us down, things that were not intended in our lifestyle. So we need to get back to living the way we were created to live by moving daily, sleeping when it's dark outside, getting the exercise and eating fresh whole foods. They didn't have things in boxes and bags, right? So eating fresh whole foods and making sure that you're getting the nutrients and the fiber that your body needs. Anything else that you would like to add before we close, Dan?
No, I think we covered the bases here. I think it's good news because a lot of people that I work with, when I start talking about the chemicals we're exposed to, I've had people say, well, if it's that bad, I might as well not even try. But that's not true. That's
Not
not true
true.
because the people that actually follow these lifestyle changes that we talk about, most of those people have the luxury of living to an old age in good health. It's worth it. It's worth the effort.
Yes. Well, this study showed just adding the psyllium fiber for 4 weeks reduced these forever chemicals by 8%. And that was only changing one thing. Well, if you're
Yeah.
changing the way your toxins are coming in and increasing foods to help with detoxification, you're going to get even a better response.
Oh yeah.
So Dan and I both love working with clients. We work with clients one-on-one and in groups. You can find me at holisticgen.com. That's with a WHOLISTIC Gen.com or Dan at danthenaturalman.com. Dan has a 5-day challenge coming up soon that is free. So I hope you'll check him out. And I have a membership group, theculinaryhealingcircle.com, where I work with clients as well. So I hope that we see you in our groups. If you like this podcast, please hit like, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone you love. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to hear from you soon.